my soul you take. Yeshua, take my hand. With you I cannot fail. My life I give to you. My soul belongs to you. And you are my strength when I am weak. And you are the shelter that I seek. And when I am down, you lift me up. And when I am dry, you fill my cup. Don't let me stray, just hold my hand. And solid rock on which I stand. Higher. You are my everything. You are my everything. You are my everything. Ahai is my everything. That's why I give him praise. And when my life is over, I pray my soul you take. Yeshua, take my hand. With you I cannot fail. My life I give to you. My soul belongs to you. And you are my strength when I am weak. And you are the shelter that I seek. And when I am down, you lift me up. And when I am dry, you fill my cup. Don't let me stray, just hold my hand. And solid rock on which I stand. Higher. You are my everything. You are my everything. You are my everything. My life, my soul, my all I'll give. And I swallow my pride and take up my cross. And I follow my heart to your will's desire. So just mold me and make me and bring me through the fire. My life, my soul, my all I'll give to you. My pride and take up my cross. That's all I wanna do. My heart to your will's desire. Give it all I got to you. And make me and bring me through the fire. And you are my strength when I am weak. And you are the shelter that I seek. And when I am down, you lift me up. And when I am dry, you fill my cup. Don't let me stray, just hold my hand. And solid rock on which I stand. Higher. You are my everything. You are my everything. You are my everything. Ahai is my everything. That's why I give him praise. And when my life is over, I pray my soul you take. Yeshua, take my hand. With you I cannot fail. My life I give to you. My soul belongs to you. And you are my strength when I am weak. And you are the shelter that I seek. And when I am down, you lift me up. And when I am dry, you fill my cup. Don't let me stray, just hold my hand. And solid rock on which I stand. Higher. You are my everything. 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 me strength, hold my hand, a solid rock on which I stand. Higher, you are my everything, you are my everything. You are my everything. High is my everything, that's why I give him praise. And when my life is over, I pray my soul you take. Yeshua, take my hand, with you I cannot fail. My life I give to you, my soul belongs to you. And you are my strength when I am weak, and you are the shelter that I seek. And when I am down, you lift me up, and when I am dry, you fill my cup. Don't let the shelter that I seek. And when I am down, you lift me up. And when I am dry, you fill my cup. Don't let me stray, just hold my hand. A solid rock on which I stand. A higher. You are my everything. You are my everything. You are my everything. Shelter that I seek. And when I am down, you lift me up. And when I am dry, you fill my cup. Don't let me stray, just hold my hand. A solid rock on which I stand. A higher. You are my everything. You are my everything. You are my everything. My soul you take, Yeshua, take my hand. With you I cannot fail. My life I give to you. My soul belongs to you. And you are my strength when I am weak. And you are the shelter that I seek. And when I am down, you lift me up. And when I am dry, you fill my cup. Don't let me stray, just hold my hand. A solid rock on which I stand. A higher. You are my everything. You are my everything. You are my everything. My life, my soul, my all I'll give. And I swallow my pride and take up my cross. And I follow my heart to your will's desire. So just mold me and make me and bring me through the fire. Oh, my life, my soul, my all I'll give to you. My pride and take up my cross. That's all I want.
All right, all right, all right. Shabbat Shalom, family. Shabbat Shalom, family. Let us stand to our feet and give the Most High his praise on this Sabbath evening, bringing in the Shabbat. We like to give the Most High all his glory and all his praise. And his name is Ahaya, by Hashem Yeshua Rawchaa. So you may all, matter of fact, remain standing, because we're going to go right into it. How's everybody feeling? Everybody's good? All praise to the Most High. Come on, man. It's the Sabbath, right? It's an honor and a privilege to be in front of the Most High, celebrating the Sabbath with the brothers and sisters, Khan. And we want to bid a Shabbat Shalom to all of the brothers and sisters online streaming right now throughout the four corners. As we usually do, we're going to go right into the law. We're going to go into Exodus 20. All right. So Exodus 20 and 1. So everybody can just repeat after me. And the Most High spake all these words, saying, I am the Most High thy power, which have brought thee out of the land of Egypt,
I am the Most High thy power, which have brought thee out of the land of Egypt,
out of the house of bondage.
out of the house of bondage.
Thou shalt have no other gods before me.
Thou shalt have no other gods before me.
Thou shalt not make unto thee any graven image,
Thou shalt not make unto thee any graven image,
or any likeness of anything that is in heaven above,
or any likeness of anything that is in heaven above,
or that is in the earth beneath,
or that is in the earth beneath,
or that is in the water under the earth.
or that is in the water under the earth.
Thou shalt not bow down thyself to them,
Thou shalt not bow down thyself to them,
nor serve them.
nor serve them.
For I, the Most High thy power, am a jealous power,
For I, the Most High thy power, am a jealous power,
visiting the iniquities of the fathers upon the children, unto the third and fourth generation of them that hate me, and showing mercies unto thousands of them that love me,
and showing mercy unto thousands of them that love me,
and keep my commandments.
and keep my commandments.
Thou shalt not take the name of the Most High thy power in vain.
Thou shalt not take the name of the Most High thy power in vain.
For the Most High will not hold him guiltless that taketh his name in vain.
For the Most High will not hold him guiltless that taketh his name in vain.
Remember the Sabbath day to keep it holy.
Remember the Sabbath day to keep it holy.
6 days shalt thou labor and do all thy work,
6 days shalt thou labor and do all thy work.
but the seventh day is the Sabbath of the Most High thy power.
But the seventh day is the Sabbath of the Most High thy power.
In it thou shalt not do any work,
In it thou shalt not do any work.
thou, nor thy son,
Nor thy son,
nor thy daughter,
nor thy daughter,
thy manservant,
thy manservant,
nor thy maidservant,
nor thy maidservant,
nor thy cattle,
nor thy cattle,
nor thy stranger that is within thy gates.
nor thy stranger that is within thy gates.
For in 6 days the Most High made heaven and earth,
For in 6 days the Most High made heaven and earth,
the sea and all that in them is,
the sea and all that in them is,
and rested the seventh day.
and rested the seventh day.
Wherefore the Most High blessed the Sabbath day and hallowed it.
Wherefore the Most High blessed the Sabbath day and hallowed it.
Honor thy father and thy mother, that thy days may be long upon the land,
Honor thy father and thy mother, that thy days may be long upon the land,
which the Most High thy power giveth thee.
which the Most High thy power giveth thee.
Thou shalt not murder.
Thou shalt not murder.
Thou shalt not commit adultery.
Thou shalt not commit adultery.
Thou shalt not steal.
Thou shalt not steal.
Thou shalt not bear false witness against thy neighbor.
Thou shalt not bear false witness against thy neighbor.
Thou shalt not covet thy neighbor's house.
Thou shalt not covet thy neighbor's house.
Thou shalt not covet thy neighbor's wife,
Thou shalt not covet thy neighbor's wife,
nor his manservant,
nor his manservant,
nor his maidservant,
nor his maidservant,
nor his ox,
nor his ox,
nor his donkey,
nor his donkey,
nor anything that is thy neighbor's.
nor anything that is thy neighbor's.
Amen. You may all be seated. All right. Moving right along, we're going to go right into the reading of the law. Genesis, we left off Genesis 36. I'll take it at verse 1. And each baptized brother will come up and read 7 verses until it's completed, and we're going to go right into the lesson. Right? So that the next 2 brothers could come and fill up the seats. Baptized brothers. Genesis 36 and 1. Now these are the generations of Esau, who is Edom. Esau took his wives of the daughters of Canaan, Ada, the daughter of Elon, the Hittite, and Ohiblama, the daughter of Anna, the daughter of Zibeon, the Hivite, and Bashemith, Ishmael's daughter, sister of Nebajoth. And Ada bare to Esau Eliphaz, and Bashmath bare Ruel, and Oholbilama bare Jeesh and Jaalam and Korah. These are the sons of Esau, which were born unto him in the land of Canaan. And Esau took his wives and his sons and his daughters and all the persons of his house and his cattle and all his beasts and all his substance, which he had got in the land of Canaan, and went into the country from the face of his brother Jacob. Verse 7 and last. For their riches were more than that they might dwell together, and the land wherein they were strangers could not bear them because of their cattle. Amen.
Shabbat Shalom. Okay, we have the book of Genesis, chapter 36. We're going to continue on verse 8. Thus dwelt Esau in Mount Seir. Esau is Edom. And these are the generations of Esau, the father of the Edomites in Mount Seir. These are the names of Esau's sons: Eliphaz, the son of Adah, the wife of Esau; Ruel, the son of Bashmath, the wife of Esau. And the son of Eliphaz were Taman, Omar, Zappol, and Gatam, and Kenaz. And Timnah was a concubine to Eliphaz, Esau's sons. And she bare two Eliphaz, Amalek. These were the sons of Adah, Esau's wife. And these are the sons of Ruel: Nathan and Zerah, Shema and Mazah. These were the sons of Bashmath, Esau's wife. And these were the sons of Aholabamah, the daughter of Anah, the daughter of Zibeon, Esau's wife. And she bare to Esau Jeush and Jalam and Korah. Amen.
Shabbat Shalom. This is Brother Ron from the tribe of Judah, picking up at Genesis chapter 36, verse 15. These were the dukes of the sons of Esau, the sons of Eliphaz, the firstborn son of Esau: Duke Teman, Duke Omar, Duke Zepho, Duke Kenaz, Duke Korah, Duke Gatam, and Duke Amalek. These are the dukes that came of Eliphaz in the land of Edom. These were the sons of Adah. And these are the sons of Ruel, Esau's sons: Duke Nahath, Duke Zerah, Duke Shaman, Duke Mazah. These are the dukes that came from Ruel in the land of Edom. These are the sons of Bashemath, Esau's wife. And these are the sons of Aholabamah, Esau's wife: Duke Jeush, Duke Jalam, Duke Korah. These were the dukes that came of Aholabamah, the daughter of Anah, Esau's wife. These are the sons of Esau, who is Edom, and these are their dukes. These are the sons of Seir, the Horite, who inhabited the land: Lotan and Shobal and Zibeon and Anah. Come on.
Shabbat Shalom, family. Happy Feast of Dedication. Brother Aman Tazabah, picking up at Genesis chapter 36, verse 20. Salakia in advance, because I'm not good with names, so I'm about to butcher this up. Verse 21, going to 27. And Dishan and Ezer and Dishan, these are the dukes of the Horites, the children of Seir in the land of Edom. And the children of Lotan were Hori and Hamam. And Lotan's sister was Timnah. And the children of Shobal were these: Alvin and Manahath and Ebal, Shepho and Onam. And these are the children of Zibeon, both Ajah and Anah. This was that Anah that found the mules in the wilderness as he fed the donkeys of Zibeon his father. And the children of Anah were these: Dishan and Aholibamah, and the daughter of Nah. These are the children of Dishan: Himdan and Eshban and Ithran and Cheran. Verse 27 and last. The children of Izar are these: Bilhan and Zaavan. and Akan. Aman.
Shabbat Shalom. Tomorrow brings in the winter season, doesn't it? And look how cold it is. Genesis chapter 36, picking up at verse 29. Verse 29. These are the dukes that came of the Horites: Duke Lotan, Duke Shobal, Duke Zibeon, Duke Anah. Verse 30. Duke Dishan, Duke Ezer, Duke Dishan. These are the dukes that came of Hori, among their dukes in the land of Seir. 31. And these are the kings that reigned in the land of Edom, before there reigned any king over the children of Israel. 32. And Bela, the son of Beor, reigned in Edom, and the name of his city was Dinhaba. 33 and last. And Bela died, and Jobab, the son of Zerah of Basra, reigned in his stead. Come on.
All right. So moving right along, we're about to get ready for tonight's lesson. Once again, how's everybody doing tonight? Because it's one thing you guys know about me, I don't like the quiet. I really don't like it. It's creepy. But, I'm happy that, everybody is here. All praise to the Most High. How was everybody's feast? The week, by the way. Yeah. Blessed, right? All praise by the Most High, man. This feast of dedication, I hope everybody was able to reflect and, really say to the Most High what they could dedicate to him, because we know, where's the new temple now? Where's the new temple now? I got a hint to y'all, right? It's our bodies, right? Since we don't have a physical temple no more, this is our temple. What Christ did for us actually is allowed the Holy Spirit to actually come and dwell in us. So we got to constantly remind ourselves of things we can do to continue in this walk, first and foremost, and not to grieve the Holy Spirit that's actually dwelling in our temples, Khan. So without any further ado, we got a powerful brother that's about to come up. He did the part 1 last week, and here's the conclusion, right on time for the ending of the Feast of Dedication. So without any further ado, my brother, Officer Wildorf. All right.
Appreciate it. All right, Shabbat Shalom. He said part 2, but not ready with part 2 yet. It's still in the works, okay? But, I'm going to bring it out in, maybe by next month. It should be ready, okay? So don't anybody forget part 1, all right? But I just want to make sure it's right. But today, it's going to be a nice, short understanding about the scriptures. We're going to go into the book of Kings and Chronicles. Okay, one of the reasons why I like the book of Kings and Chronicles because it gives us the understanding about our forefathers and about the leadership during the time of Israel. And a few years back, I had did a short understanding amongst the body in a Bible study about putting the book of Kings in a chronological order, because you'll find that when you read the book of Kings, it jumps back and forth. It'll go into the king of Israel or the king of Judah, and then sometimes you get very confused, especially after the split. For those who've seen the academy, which is a very good class that you should take, that will give more details of what happened when Solomon went off. Both kingdom was torn apart. So now in the book of 1 Kings, 2 Kings, and Chronicles, it goes back and forth. So we're going to deal with one of the kings, a righteous king, Josiah. And we're going to go in chronological order so you got more understanding. So I really, advise people to take notes or write down the precepts down. So then when you go over it, you can see it, because in this society in Babylon, we're taught to read from left to right. But during our culture, it was from right to left. So when these scrolls are put together, it wasn't put in a way where it could make it easier for us to understand it, but we have to go and dig and try to get understanding in the scriptures. Okay? So it's King Josiah, the Reformist, king of Judah. The reason I mention he's a Reformist is because the kings prior to him were involved in so many wickedness. It was involved in so many different idolatry, just so many. But Josiah, who became a king at a very young age, took a different route. Okay, we're going to go into that. So first, let's see. All right. Okay. Okay. Now, this presentation is not going to have a lot of visuals and pictures, so it's a lot of reading and text, and sometimes we need that. Okay, so just to let you know now, we're going to go into the book of Chronicles, 2 Chronicles 33, 20 and 21. And this is sort of the backdrop story before Josiah became king.
Khan. This is the book of 2 Chronicles, chapter 33, verse 20 through 21. So Manasseh slept with his fathers, and they buried him in his own house, and Amon, his son, reigned in his stead. Amon was 22 years old when he began to reign, and reigned 2 years in Jerusalem.
Now, Amon is, you'll find, is Josiah's father. He only reigned for 2 years, okay, at the age of, 22. So the Most High couldn't keep him in position long, okay, because Amon was sacrificing human beings, babies, okay, pure wickedness. His father prior to that was Manasseh, also was not doing righteous act, okay. 2 Chronicles 33.
Khan. But he did that which was evil in the sight of the Most High, and did Manasseh his father, as did Manasseh his father. For Amon sacrificed unto all the carved images which Manasseh his father had made, and served them, and humbled not himself before the Most High, as Manasseh his father had humbled himself, but Amon trespassed more and more.
So Amon started doing more wickedness than his father Manasseh. Even though at the end, Manasseh humbled himself, but sometimes it's a bit too late. Go ahead.
Verse 24. And his servants conspired against him, and slew him in his own house. But the people of the land slew all them that had conspired against King Amon.
So now, King Amon was assassinated by his own servants. People that was, rolling with him, serving him. They didn't like where he was leading the children of Israel. They didn't like the wickedness he was doing. But then the people went and slew those who slew Amon. So one question, was it a righteous act that the people did, killing off the assassins? You can say yes or no. Was it a righteous act? No. Yeah, good answer. No, it wasn't, because we all know that the Most High put a king in position. No one has any reason, any right to take out that king. It has to be the Most High doing. So his servants made that mistake, took the matters into their own hands. So then now the people went and took the matters in their own hands. And that's the Most High will. So the Most High find the people just, not those who assassinated Amon. Okay? So it's like, for all of those who's above us, even in our jobs, we may not like our boss, you know what I mean? We may hate him and want something to, happen to him, but you know what? It's not your call. It's the Most High, it's the Most High will. Okay?
Yeah, one moment.
So just like, when David was in that situation, Saul was after him, Saul had him on the run, and then when he had the opportunity to kill Saul, when others had opportunity to kill Saul, David told him, no, you cannot kill the anointed one, like the Most High. That's why David had a heart. Pardon the technical difficulties. Now, you're going to see on the verses, I'm going to have one highlighted in yellow and one highlighted in white purposely. Because, oh yeah, I got it? Okay. Oh. You on now, right? Okay, we left off here. Okay. All right. Hold on. Got it? All right. Just finish that that last sentence.
Con. Verse 24. Oh, the continuation of verse 25.
Mm-hmm.
And the people of the land made Josiah his son king in his stead.
All right. So, Ammon was killed off. The people made Josiah his son king instead. Oh. Now, I just want to show you something. Now, you're going to see where I have the verses, the scriptures. I have it highlighted in white. And I'm going to have certain things highlighted in yellow. The reason is the book of Kings and Chronicles, they go hand in hand, as I mentioned before. But the book of Kings is the summary of the events that's taking place, whereas the book of Chronicles explaining more in details. Okay? So that's why I said it would be important for you guys to take notes so then you could, at a later time check it out and read the summary and then go to that same verse in the book of Chronicles and they give you more details. Okay, we good now? All right? So 2 Kings 22, 1-2 is the details of 2 Chronicles 34 and 1-2. Go ahead.
Con. Josiah was 8 years old when he began to reign, and he reigned in Jerusalem 31 years, 640 to 609 BC.
Okay, so this is around between 640 and 609 BC. Okay? Josiah, 8 years old, he became king. So he inherited that position. Now, an 8-year-old child, could you imagine making decisions? No. Was that occurring? So there's no way that he could have made decisions, but he had people around him making those decisions, okay? And also, mentoring him at the same time too. And this is why, really good for our young people because, we have a lot of young people who are in the men's class are really, really brilliant in the scripture. And, I applaud Sister Sharice, who did a good job in teaching our young people because they come in that class and they know a lot of the scriptures, but it's just making them understand how it applies to them today is the level they're on. And, we got some brothers that's really sharp, but they're not ready to make decisions. They're not ready to run the class, but there are some that's ready to do a lesson. Like my young brother over there, he got a lesson he's going to do in a couple of weeks. Okay? So, 8 years old. Continue.
Gone.
2.
Verse 2. And he did that which was right in the sight of the Most High, and walked in the ways of David his father, and declined neither to the right hand nor to the left.
Now, I underline, he walked in the ways of David his father. Yes, he's from the lineage of David. David is his father. Okay? But I'm going to go into it. I don't want to give it away why I highlighted that part. Okay? So I'm going to come back to that. Go ahead.
2 Chronicles chapter 34, verse 3. For in the 8th year of his reign, while he was yet young, he began to seek after the Most High.
Okay, so who tell me, how old is he now on the 8th year of his reign? 16. So at the age of 16, he began to seek the Most High. All right? So he wanted to know about the Most High. He wanted to know the God of David, his father. And of course, those who were around him was also telling him about the Most High. But the only thing was, he wasn't reading about the Most High. And we're gonna go into that. All right, go ahead, continue.
Of and in the 12th year, he began to purge Judah and Jerusalem from the high places.
Now, the 12th year, how old is he now? Who said 20? Who else? 28. Wait, this said 12th year. Let's do the math.
4 more years.
20. Because the 12th year. So from 8 to 12.
4 years. 16, 4, 20.
20 years. Yeah. Because it said 8 years old, he was king on his 12th year as a king. So that's like 12 plus 8. 20 years old. So at 20 years old, he started taking action towards what was going on in Israel. 20 years old. Go ahead.
Began to purge Judah and Jerusalem from the high places and the groves and the carved images and the molten images.
So he knew that, okay, I need to do something. So I'm going to get rid of all these graven images that's in the land of Israel. I'm going to go tear everything down. And there's going to go more details on how and what he did. Go ahead. 2 Chronicles 34:4.
Verse 4. And they break down the altars of Baalim in his presence, and the images that were on high above them. He cut down, and the groves and the carved images and the molten images he brake in pieces, and made dust of them, and strode it upon the graves of them that had sacrificed unto them.
Yeah, so he was there presently watching, making sure that they tear down everything. He was an active young king. Okay? He had to make sure. Okay.
Verse 5. And he burnt the bones of the priests upon their altars.
So he burnt the bones of the priests. Okay? So the priest that was involved in all these idols, he just grabbed them up, throw them on the fire, burn them up to their bones. Go ahead.
And cleansed Judah and Jerusalem. Verse 6. And so did he in the cities of Manasseh and Ephraim and Simeon, even unto Naphtali, where their mattocks round about.
Okay, so now, even in Manasseh, Ephraim, Simeon, and Naphtali, the northern kingdom, he had to go to the northern kingdom territory and break down all their graven images and idols. But the northern kingdom was not around during his time. We got to remember, the Assyrian came and took the northern kingdom maybe about 150 to 200 years prior to Josiah. So why did he go down there? Can we jump to 2 Kings 17 and 24 a bit? Go back a little history. Yeah, it was 24. 2 Kings
17:24.
Right.
It's the book of 2 Kings, chapter 17, verse 24.
Okay, so this is about 150 to 200 years prior.
And the king of Assyria brought men from Babylon,
Mm-hmm.
and from Cutha, and from Avah, and from Hamath, and from Sepharvaim, and placed them in cities of Samaria instead of the children of Israel, and they possessed Samaria and dwelt in the cities thereof.
Mm-hmm.
And so it was at the beginning of their dwelling there that they feared not the Most High. Therefore the Most High sent lions among them,
Mm-hmm.
which slew some of them. Wherefore they spake to the king of Assyria, saying, the nations which thou hast removed and placed in the cities of Samaria know not the manner of the Most High of the land. Therefore he hath sent lions among them, and behold, they slay them.
Okay, so so the Syrians took the children of Israel, the northern kingdom, out, but put other nations inside there. But then the lions within the land, the Most High sent lions to what? Eat them all up. They couldn't understand. Why are these lions coming there? Where they coming from in this land? Go ahead.
Because they know not the manner of the Most High of the land.
Mm-hmm.
Then the king of Assyria commanded, saying, carry thither one of the priests whom ye brought from thence, and let them go and dwell there, and let them teach them the manner of the Most High of the land.
So they went and got one of our priests who they captured. So you know what? Yo, get that priest, bring him back over there. Let him do something, or ordinances, whatever, to keep the lions away. And so that's what they did. So eventually, as time goes on, the priest started teaching them the ordinances, the imposters. And next thing you know, they get into idols. Because they saw a lot of the ordinances and the sacrifices wasn't really working for them. So he was like, you know what? Let's just throw a stone and wood. Let's build that up. Maybe something will happen. Okay? We could jump back to Chronicles.
Book of 2 Chronicles, chapter 34, verse 7.
Mm-hmm.
And when he had broken down the altars and the groves, and had beaten the graven images into powder, and cut down all the idols throughout all the land of Israel, he returned to Jerusalem.
So he returned back to Jerusalem. So he was an active participant in clearing out Jerusalem at 20 years old. Now, we're going to stage 2 of Josiah. Okay, the first one was him cleansing different cities in Jerusalem. Now we're going to the second stage, what he had to do. Remember, 2 Kings, that's a summary. 2 Chronicles is the more details. Mm-hmm.
2 Chronicles, chapter 34, verse 8. Now when the 18th year of his reign, when he had purged the land.
Now, 18th year of his reign. How old is he now? 26. Yeah, he finally reached 26. Go ahead.
And the house, he sent Shaphan, the son of Azaliah, and Maaseiah, the governor of the city, and Joah, the son of Joahaz, the recorder, to repair the house of the Most High, his power.
All right, so he's gathering up his cabinet, his governor, his scribe, his team. Okay? Now, at this time, the temple was in disarray. It needed repairs because it was neglected. Okay? Well, all these different kings prior, they neglected the temple. Right?
Verse 9. And when they came to Hilkiah, the high priest, they delivered the money that was brought into the house of the Most High, which the Levites that kept the doors had gathered of the land of the hand of Manasseh and Ephraim, and of the remnant of Israel, and of all Judah and Benjamin, and they returned to Jerusalem.
Okay, now this part is very interesting. I highlighted the word money. Sometimes when I'm reading scriptures, I'm like, how did Israel get their money? How did all the funds come inside the temple? Now, we know back in Exodus, a lot of it came from when they went to different lands and Most High ordered them to wipe out the other nations and take their spoils and their gold, but it couldn't be enough. So you find that the Most High had given laws and statutes a sophisticated way of strengthening our people's financial power. Okay? They said, which the Levites that kept the doors that gathered the hands of Manasseh and Ephraim, and of all that remains in Israel. Now, if we go to 2 Kings 12 and 4, jump there for a second.
It's the book of 2 Kings, chapter 12, verse 4.
Mm-hmm.
And Joash said to the priest.
Now, Joash was a king a few years way before Josiah. Mm-hmm.
All the money of the dedicated things that is brought into the house of the Most High, even the money of everyone that passeth the account, the money that every man is set at, and all the money that cometh into any man's heart to bring into the house of the Most High.
Okay, so it's about all the money, right, that coming through the man's heart. That means everybody in Israel was bringing money to the temple. But what for? What was the purpose? Let's jump to Exodus 30 and 13.
It's the book of Exodus.
This is one way of understanding how Israel was able to raise money into the temple.
It's the book of Exodus, chapter 30, verse 13. This they shall give, everyone that passeth among them that are numbered, half a shekel after the shekel of the sanctuary. A shekel is 20 gerahs, and half a shekel shall be the offering of the Most High.
So people had to give an offering. You was able to give money as an offering to the Most High. All stages, all levels of economical situation. Go ahead, continue.
Verse 14. Everyone that passeth among them that are numbered, from 20 years old and above, shall give an offering unto the Most High.
So at the age of 20, it's time for you to start giving offering to the Most High. Okay? Everyone, from 20 and up. Continue.
Verse 15. The rich shall not give more, and the poor shall not give less.
So it was the rich and the poor. Go ahead.
Than half a shekel. When they give an offering unto the Most High to make an atonement for your souls.
So that's what you make an offering for. Atonement for your souls. For your sins. Because there were some people that didn't have cattle and bullocks. So if you didn't have that, then you could have given an offering. Shekels, gerahs. So that's why even today, giving an offering to the church, to the body, is well pleased by the Most High. You'll make an atonement for your soul. All right? Go ahead, finish that last verse, 16.
Verse 16. And thou shalt take the atonement money of the children of Israel, and shalt appoint it for the service of the tabernacle of the congregation, that it may be a memorial unto the children of Israel before the Most High, to make an atonement for your souls.
So that was one way Israel was able to generate a financial stability for the tabernacle, for the temple. Okay? All right, so we could jump back to 34 and 9. Here's another thing too. Could you read it again from the top?
Come on, verse 9. 2 Chronicles chapter 34, verse 9. And when they came to Hilkiah the high priest, they delivered the money that was brought into the house of the Most High, which the Levites that kept the doors had gathered of the hand of Manasseh and Ephraim, and all of the remnant of Israel, and of all Judah and Benjamin.
Okay, now it says Manasseh and Ephraim, and all of the remnant of Israel. They collected money. But wait a minute. I thought the Assyrians took the northern kingdom 100-something years before. But here's the key word, remnant. So that means that there was still some northern kingdom on the land. Okay? we got to understand that, put in mind that every captivity that occurred in Israel, you had a few people that either what? Went into hiding or escaped. Just like we know with Josiah when he was a baby. When Herod was going out looking and killing babies, what did his family do? They left, they escaped. Every captivity, you have those that were able to flee from the land. But then, once the Assyrians came and grabbed everybody up, all the northern kingdom, yoke them up, chain them up, left, what they do? Maybe a couple of years, they started what? Creeping back into the land. And they were still giving their offering. But I think they was doing it, on the low because there was other nations there. So they had to sort of mix in with the other nation. So as scripture said, Israel swallowed up, mixing himself with the other nations. So they had to mix themselves with the other nations. But at the same time, they knew the law. So they had certain priests in position where they still were giving an offering to atone for their sins. And what the priests do, they collected the money and put it back in the tabernacle. And they gave it to Josiah right there, a remnant. All right, go ahead, 2 Chronicles.
Verse 10. And they put it in the hand of the workmen that had the oversight of the house of the Most High.
So, so now you know what collecting the funds in the temple allowed the king to do. Pay people. He was giving jobs now. The workman that was out of job, oh man, King Josiah is now, he's giving us a job to do. Go ahead.
And they gave it to the workmen that wrought in the house of the Most High to repair and amend the house. Even to the artificers and builders gave they it to buy hewn stone and timber for couplings and to floor the houses which the kings of Judah had destroyed.
So he gave it to the artificers, the architects, the engineers amongst Israel. All right, you brothers, here's some money. Let's rebuild this temple. So the king have to do that. They have to really be financially astute to know how to separate the funds, to know how to create jobs. And that's what Josiah did. At the age of what? 26, right? Go ahead.
Verse 12. And the men did the work faithfully, and the overseers of them that were Jahath and Obadiah, the Levites, of the son of Merari, and Zechariah and Meshullam, of the sons of Kohathites, to set it forward, and other of the Levites, all that could skill of instrument of music.
Now, he had the Levites oversee the workmen. Now, building a temple, it has to be Israelite hands. Okay? Just like when Solomon started building it, you only had Israelite build the temple. Now, you need the Levites to oversee it and make sure that all the offices and all the sections was done properly. Okay? So they had to oversee it. So that means that this temple was neglected for a very long time. Okay? Go ahead.
Verse 13. Also, there were over the bearers of burdens, and were overseers of all that wrought the work in any manner of service. And of the Levites there were scribes and officers and porters. And when they brought out the money that was brought into the house of the Most High, Hilkiah the priest found a book of the law of the Most High given by Moses.
Okay, so here's the climax of the whole thing. Hilkiah, the high priest, found the book of the law. What do you mean you just found the book of the law? You guys didn't have it? How were you operating all this time? Okay, they never had the book of the law. Oh, I thought I had this highlighted. Oh, okay, we're going to go to that. Let me go back. Jumping. Okay? They didn't have the book of the law. Josiah didn't have the book of the law. How was he operating? But remember, going back to David, he said he followed all the ways of David. So the only thing that he had was the writings of his forefather David and all the other kings. But he liked David because David's heart was with the Most High. So Josiah knew about the Most High through who? Through David. That's why I encourage a lot of men to read the book of first book Samuel, second book Samuel with David. It's a very good book because David had the heart of the Most High. So that's how Josiah got his understanding, not through the law. So David was sort of like a mentor to him. You're talking about 400 years back. So we also got to understand today, our young people, they're watching us. We need to be a mentor to them, especially in the body. Okay? Because for them to understand the law right now is, pretty tricky. But if we as parents and adults are operating according to the Most High, then they will operate the same way too. So Josiah's mentor was David. Now, this is in the book of Josephus to prove that claim.
Con.
If you can start where it says he was most excellent.
Con. This is the book of Josephus, book 10, chapter 4.
Oh, you can read from the top, just to get people to understand. You can read from the top.
Chapter 4.
Mm-hmm.
This Ammon imitated those works of his father, which he insolently did when he was young. So he had a conspiracy made against him by his own servants, and was killed in his own house, when he had lived 24 years, and of them had reigned 2.
Now, we read that in the scriptures. Josephus is verifying that. Go ahead.
But the multitude punished those that killed Ammon, and buried him with his father, and gave the kingdom to his son Josiah, who was 8 years old. His mother was of the city of Bozkath, and her name was Jedidah. He was of a most excellent disposition, and naturally virtuous, and followed the actions of King David.
Followed the action of King David. He didn't have the law. Okay? The only thing he had was the writings of the prophets. Because it was the prophets that wrote the book of all the kings. Go ahead.
As a pattern and a rule to him in the whole conduct of his life.
Okay, see that? So he tried to emulate David's pattern throughout his whole life. I remember years ago, I read this book, and it said if you want to be a great man, read books about great men. But praise the Most High, now I have the scriptures, and I can read about that instead of other books. Okay? But that's what Josiah did. He wanted to emulate David.
Con. And when he was 12 years old, he gave demonstrations of his religious and righteous behavior, for he brought the people to a sober way of living and exhorted them to leave off the opinion they had of their idols, because they were not gods.
Okay, so you already know that David was not worshiping idols. David would just eliminate anybody who are into graven images. So he took action based on his father. All right, continue this.
And by repeating on the actions of his progenitors, he prudently corrected what they did wrong, like a very elderly man.
All right, so he saw the errors that his forefathers had done. And that's what we need to do. That's what we need to understand. See the errors that they committed, so we won't make the same mistakes in this walk. That's the only way that Josiah was able to make decisions. Go ahead.
and like one abundantly able to understand what was fit to be done, and what he found they had well done. He observed all the country over and imitated the same. And thus he acted in following the wisdom and sagacity of his own nature, and in compliance with the advice and instruction of the elders.
So remember, he had elders too that was also instructing him, giving him wisdom. That's why it's very important to listen to your elders, young men. Okay? Very important, because the elders are going to give you wisdom from experience. So Josiah had to get experience, understanding, and also he had a righteous heart. Put that all together for him to make effective decisions. Go ahead.
For by following the laws, it was that he succeeded so well in the order of his government and in piety with regard to the divine worship.
All right. So the only laws that he was getting was probably the oral law from his elders, and also the law that David was following. Now, right here, real quickly, I just want to give you, something I put together. Look a little choppy, but I'm working on my arts and craft. This is, you see, Hezekiah, where it says G, that means he was a good king. Of course, he made a lot of mistakes, and he paid for it, but at the end, he was a good king. And the prophet at that time where Josiah was Isaiah and Micaiah. Then after Hezekiah, you have Manasseh. You got B, a bad king. You have Ammon, a bad king. Now you have Josiah. And during that time, Jeremiah and Zephaniah were the prophets during his time. So sometimes when you're reading about the prophets, you got to try to connect them with the kings, because every king had a prophet with them. And these are the time periods during their reign. Okay? And there's the king of Judah. All right. Book of Law. 2 Chronicles 34 and 14.
And when they brought out the money that was brought into the house of the Most High, Hilkiah the priest found a book of the law of the Lord given by Moses.
Okay.
And Hilkiah answered and said to Shaphan the scribe, I have found the book of the law in the house of the Most High. And Hilkiah delivered the book to Shaphan.
Okay, so you found the book of the law. How would they operate without the book of the law? What were they doing? Ahead.
Verse 16. And Shaphan carried the book to the king, and brought the king word back again, and saying, all that was committed to thy servants, they do it. And they have gathered together the money that was found in the house of the Most High, and have delivered it into the hand of the overseers, and to the hand of the workmen. Then Shaphan the scribe told the king, saying, Hilkiah the priest hath given me a book. And Shaphan read it before the king.
So now they're making a report. Everything that he asked them to do, they did. Now they got to pull the book out and show him the book of the law.
Verse 19. And it came to pass, when the king had heard the words of the law, that he rent his clothes.
So when he got the law, and he was reading it to him, or he was reading it, or somebody was reading to him, he just rent his clothes. He got hot, got nervous. Okay? I'm telling you, renting clothes is not what people think. You just rip up your clothes. It's something that's going on inside of you that's making you hot. That you're like, yo, I got to take off my jacket. I got problems coming. So he felt hot. Go ahead.
Verse 20. And the king commanded Hilkiah and Ahikam, the son of Shaphan, and Abdon, the son of Micah, and Shaphan the scribe, and Isaiah, a servant of the king, saying, Go inquire of the Most High for me, and for them that are left in Israel and in Judah, concerning the words of the book that is found.
So he said to go inquire. You know what? I need some understanding about these laws. I mean, it's not something that he was given. He needs understanding. So go ahead, finish that.
For great is the wrath of the Most High that is poured out upon us, because our fathers have not kept the word of the Most High to do after all that is written in this book.
So he saw something in the law of Moses where his forefathers were breaking lots of different laws. He saw the punishment for breaking the laws. He saw the plagues for breaking the laws. He saw the judgments for breaking the laws. I mean, he probably said it was so bad that he has to worry about his life. And I'm going to go show you why. There's a law. So he was nervous. Now, underneath here, we're not going to go too much in detail, but if you got the time, you want to go find the word inquire, I kind of find it interesting because even in the book of David, the Lord said that David inquired to the Most High. You will see that a few times in the scriptures, and I used to be like, okay, what do you mean by inquired? Did David go speak to the Most High? So you'll find that inquire really means that a prophet was always around to speak to the Most High on behalf of David. Or somebody who have an understanding of the writings, the law. Okay?
The prophetess.
To the prophetess.
2 Chronicles chapter 34, 22 to 28. We're going to be reading from 2 Kings 22, verse 14. So Hilkiah the priest, and Ahikam, and Akbor, and Shaphan, and Azariah, went unto Huldah the prophetess, the wife of Shalom, the son of Tikvah, the son of Haraz, keeper of the wardrobe. Now she dwelt in Jerusalem in the college, and they communed with her.
So now, these men went to inquire about the law. They went to the prophetess. Okay? She is the wife of, I put the word wardrobe and college in the bottom. She was the wife of Shalom, who I think his profession was dealing with the garments. Okay? Was a priest making the garments. But they said the prophetess. And it said she communed in the college. I was like, okay, they used college back then? What did they mean by college? So I had to try to figure this out. Okay? So they went to her. Go ahead. Now, we don't go more details in Josephus about the prophetess Huldah.
This is Josephus, book 10, chapter 4.
Yeah, I had to make these markers, man, because I can't, see the fine print. So, go ahead.
Huldah the prophetess, the wife of Shalom, which Shalom was a man of dignity and of eminent family, and directed them to go to her and say that he desired she would appease the Most High and try to render him favorable to them.
So he the one who directed them to her. Okay, go ahead.
For that there was cause to fear, lest upon the transgression of the laws of Moses by their forefathers, they should be in peril of going into captivity.
Okay, so they were feared. They saw that the sins of their forefathers is going to bring captivity to them. Go ahead.
And of being cast out of their own country, lest they should be in want of all things, and so end their days miserably.
So that's what they saw. That's what Josiah saw. Oh my goodness, captivity. for the laws that's been broken. They didn't have the book. They was operating without the law, with their own understanding. You can't operate on your own understanding, because you're gonna miss something. I mean, it's so funny. Even lying. I was doing a class with the young men, and we came across proverb. It said the Most High hates a lying tongue. I was like, oh, wait a minute. Most High hates it. So I'm thinking back when I used to be a salesman, I used to sell cars. Oh my goodness. It was the boss that used to make me lie. And then in this Babylon, sometimes we're trained to lie without even knowing that we're lying. So now we have to be real careful about that. Just the other day too, my son said he needed an envelope for school, and it was like 9:30 in the evening. It was cold. I said, all right, I'm gonna go to the store and go get it. I went to the store, 5 blocks and walked. I picked up other stuff. Then I left. Then I forgot the envelope. I already walked 3 blocks, and I said, you know what? I'm just gonna tell them I didn't have no more envelopes. But after taking 3 steps, I said, you know what? That's lying. I said, man, let me walk back. So I had to walk back, go get the envelope. But you know what? I felt better. You know what I mean? I don't have to have that over my head. And that's what the Lord does. It convicts you and makes you free. So now I don't have to lie to him, and he'll probably know when I'm lying. And the next he'll be lying. And then we have a whole problem. So it starts with us. That's the law. I mean, I read that. I was like, oh, wow, that's the law. Lying? Nah, it's too cold. It was too cold. All right, continue. Go ahead.
When the prophetess had heard this from the messengers that were sent to her by the king, she directed them, go back to the king and say that the Most High had already given sentence against them to destroy the people and cast them out of their country.
See, the Most High already gave this sentence. That's it. Go ahead.
And deprive them of all the happiness they enjoyed, which sentence none could set aside by prayers of theirs.
Not even your prayers are going to help right now. The sentence been made. You can pray all you want. How about Aku say? You can cry all you want. That's it. Now, where they went, when they said to college, this is what I believe, is a section where there's books of all the writings, of all the laws. And Hezekiah, I think she was working in there, almost like a library. When you go into a library, you see a lot of women inside there. They know what different books are. So she was able to read to them what's going on with the law. And that's what makes you a prophetess. Understanding the scriptures, understanding the law, and being able to counsel others. And there's nothing wrong with women counseling men if they don't have some understanding. G.O.C.C is raising up a lot of prophetess. Because remember, we got our sister Desiree, the elder's wife. She's a prophetess. You have Sister Shirley. You have Sister Patricia. We even got Brooklyn on Sister Sonia. You're a prophetess, so yes, you know the law. You've been in the law. We got Sister Diane, and we also have Naomi, strong sisters that I know. Sometimes I go back and forth with Naomi. Sometimes I'm going to call Sister Patricia just for their understanding. So GOCC is raising them, and there's more prophetess coming up. All you sisters here, eventually, you're going to be prophetess, breaking down the scriptures. Praise the Most High for that. Go ahead.
Since it was passed on account of their transgressions of the laws, and of their not having repented in so long a time.
So they didn't even they didn't even know the law for them to repent for a long time. Go ahead.
While the prophets had exhorted them to amend and had foretold the punishment that would ensue on their impious practices, which threatening the Most High would certainly execute upon them, that they might be persuaded that he is the Most High.
So they had prophets that was there telling them, but they still wasn't listening. They still wasn't listening. Now they see the book of law. Oh my goodness, it's a wrap. Go ahead.
And had not deceived them in any respect as to what he had pronounced by his prophets, that yet, because Josiah was a righteous man, he would at present delay those calamities, but that after his death, he would send on the multitude what miseries he had determined for them.
So because of Josiah's righteous heart, the Most High kind of like delayed the captivity. Okay? And where did he get that from? David. Now, if he didn't study David and he got involved in the same wickedness, that captivity would have came during his reign. So Most High kind of just hold off. Go ahead.
2 Kings chapter 22, verse 15. And she said unto them, Thus saith the Most High Power of Israel.
And this is what she's reading out the law from the prophets.
Tell the man that sent you to me, Thus saith the Most High. Behold, I will bring evil upon this place, and upon the inhabitants thereof, even all the words of the book which the king of Judah hath read.
Now, you know, Josiah's was prophesied about 400 years ago. If we go into the 1 Kings 13, real quickly. So that's what she read. She saw the prophecy of Josiah. And she's telling them, listen, Josiah, you're going to be okay. He's going to be okay. How do we know that? How did she know that? 1 Kings 13.
It's the book of 1 Kings chapter 13, verse 1.
Is it verse 1? Yeah, go ahead, let's see.
And behold, there came a man of the Most High out of Judah by the word of the Most High to Bethel and Jeroboam.
Okay, so this is Jeroboam we're dealing with, the first king of the kingdom of Israel. Go ahead.
And Jeroboam stood by the altar to burn incense, and he cried against the altar in the word of the Most High and said, O altar, altar, thus saith the Most High, behold, a child shall be born unto the house of David.
Okay, so a man of God came to Jeroboam while he's over here praying to the altar and said what?
Josiah by name, and upon thee shall he offer the priest of the high places that burn incense upon thee, and men's bones shall be burnt upon thee.
Okay, see that? That was a prophecy, which was 400 years before Josiah became the reign. That's what she was telling them. So he's good. This is what he's going to be doing. See, the scripture is not going to tell you every detail of the conversation that a lot of our forefathers and mothers had, but we could get a sense of it. Okay, this is 400 years before Josiah prophesied. All right, we could jump back to it.
Verse 17. Because they have forsaken me and have burned incense unto other gods, that they might provoke me to anger with all the works of their hands, therefore my wrath shall be kindled against this place, and shall not be quenched.
Oh, man. It's Most High's wrath. That's what they were reading. Go ahead. Oh, hold on. Okay.
Verse 18. But to the king of Judah, which sent you to inquire of the Most High, thus shall ye say to him, Thus saith the Most High Power of Israel, as touching the words which thou hast heard. 19. because thine heart was tender,
Mhm.
and thou hast humbled thyself before the Most High, when thou heardest what I spake against this place, and against the inhabitants thereof, that they should become a desolation and a curse, and has rent thy clothes, and wept before me, I also have heard thee, saith the Most High.
See, he humbled himself. That's what the Most High is looking for, humility, humbleness. One of our officers, Malachi, did a lesson like a year ago on humility, humble thyself. And that's something that we got to teach our kids. You know, and humble means like, if you're doing something, don't give me the reason why, who did this, who did that. Just acknowledge the problem and say, yes, okay, yeah, you're right, I did that. That's humility, not excuses. Because when we already know, Adam, when the Most High came to him, what he do? He blamed the woman, excuses. Didn't take responsibility for himself. King Saul, the same thing. Most High tell him, don't take the spoils, kill off the Amalek. But when Most High came to him, he said, it was the people that told me not to. But David, sooner he found out about his transgression, he humbled himself. He accepted responsibility. And that's what Josiah learned. So he knew to humble himself. Go ahead.
Verse 20. Behold, therefore, I will gather thee unto thy fathers, and thou shalt be gathered into thy grave in peace.
So he said that he's going to be gathered in peace. You're good. Because of humility and your heart. Now, we got to find what peace really means now, because when we get to it, I'll discuss it. Just remind me of the word peace. Go ahead.
And thine eyes shall not see all the evil which I will bring upon this place. And they brought the king word again.
Okay. The law is read to the people. Go ahead.
2 Kings chapter 23, verse 1. And the king sent, and they gathered unto him all the elders of Judah and of Jerusalem.
So the king was like, okay, you know what? Get all the elders. Get everybody. Gather them. Okay, this is a serious issue. I'm getting hot. I'm ripping too many garments. Go ahead.
Verse 2. And the king went up into the house of the Most High, and all the men of Judah, and all the inhabitants of Jerusalem with him, and the priests, and the prophets, and all the people, both small and great. And he read in their ears all the words of the book of the covenant which was found in the house of the Most High.
So he read the law to all the inhabitants, all the people. Because the people didn't know it, obviously. So he had to read it to him. Now, it is a commandment that the Most High gave Moses, I think Deuteronomy 34, that every 7 years, all the people got to show up to Jerusalem where they have to read the law to them. Every 7 years. Okay. So that when he saw that, he decided, okay, I'm gonna go ahead and do that. I'm gonna read the law to all the people. You see what kind of work he decided to do? Other than being a king, other than just humble himself. Now he's willing to teach the people the law himself. That's how convicted he was. Go ahead. Oh, yeah.
Verse 3.
I gave it away. Go ahead.
And the king stood by a pillar and made a covenant before the Most High to walk after the Most High and to keep his commandments and his testimonies and his statutes with all their heart and all their soul, to perform the words of this covenant that were written in this book. And all the people stood to the covenant.
Okay, remember that covenant? When Moses was on Mount Sinai and he had all the blood and he tossed it on the people and they said, I will follow the commandment. Now he's taking up that covenant. He's doing everything that's possible. Okay,
Verse 4.
the final purging.
Salakia. 2 Chronicles chapter 34, verse 29 through 33.
Yeah, just gonna go ahead and read.
And the king commanded Hilkiah the high priest, and the priests of the second order, and the keepers of the door, to bring forth out of the temple of the Most High all the vessels that were made for Baal.
So he's like, you know what? Now he's about, yo, just get everything. All the temples. Pull out all the images. Go ahead.
And for the grove, and for all the host of heaven. And he burned them without Jerusalem in the fields of Kidron, and carried the ashes of them unto Bethel.
Okay.
Verse 5.
Mm-hmm.
And he put down the idolatrous Salakia priests,
Mm-hmm.
whom the kings of Judah had ordained to burn incense in the high places in the cities of Judah.
Okay, now he's going to different parts of Judah. See, he didn't complete all the purgings the first time. Now he's going in. He's checking every corner, every pit, every hole, all of that to clear it out. Go ahead.
And in the places round about Jerusalem, them also that burned incense unto Baal, to the sun, and to the moon, and to the plants, and to all the host of heaven.
So they was even doing that, burning incense to the sun, to the moon, the planets. They were off. Okay, doing astrologies and all of that. Probably palm reading with incense burning behind them.
Second Chronicles chapter 35, verse 1. Moreover, Josiah kept a Passover.
Okay, so something I missed. So I thought I put it in there. So I wanted them to continue to read to 34. What was it? Before we get to that. If you go to, if you pull on your Bibles, I think it's 2 Kings. Yeah, 2 Kings. Let's go to 2 Kings 23, 4 to 5. Now, see, 2 Kings go into details of the final purging. I kind of like made error on that. Let's go on that. 2 Kings 23.
This is the book of 2 Kings, chapter 23, verse 4.
Mm-hmm.
And the king commanded Hilkiah the high priest, and the priest of the second order, and the keepers of the door, to bring forth out of the temple of the Most High all the vessels that were made for Baal, and for the grove, and for the host of heaven. And he burned them without Jerusalem in the fields of Kidron, and carried the ashes of them unto Bethel. And he put down the idolatrous priests, whom the kings of Judah had ordained to burn incense in the high places in the cities of Judah, and in the places round about Jerusalem, them also that burned incense unto Baal, to the sun, to the moon, and to the planets, and to all the host of heaven.
Okay, where you at?
Verse 6.
All right, come.
And he brought out the grove from the house of the Most High, from the house of the Most High without Jerusalem, unto the brook Kidron, and burned it at the brook Kidron, and stamped it small to powder, and cast the powder thereof unto the graves of the children of the people. And he brake down the houses of the Sodomites.
So there were Sodomites hanging around. Okay? People doing all type of wickedness near the temple in Jerusalem. Go ahead.
And he brake down the houses of the Sodomites that were by the house of the Most High, where the woman wove hanging for the grove.
So you had prostitution going on over there. Okay? Come on, go ahead.
Verse 8. And he brought all the priests out of the cities of Judah, and defiled the high places where the priests had burned incense, from Gabar to Beersheba, and brake down the high places of the gates that were in the entering in of the gate of Joshua, the governor of the city,
See that? They were in high places. They were on top of the roof. Okay? They love doing that in high places. Go ahead.
which were on a man's left hand at the gate of the city. Nevertheless, the priest of the high places came not up to the altar of the Most High in Jerusalem, but they did eat of the unleavened bread among their brethren.
See that? Eating unleavened bread while they're doing wickedness. Go ahead.
And he defiled Tepheth, which is in the valley of the children of Hanan, that no man might make his son or his daughter to pass through the fire to Moloch.
So he had to get rid of all of that because they were still doing it under his nose. Go ahead.
And he took away the horses that the kings of Judah had given to the sun at the entering in of the house of the Most High by the chamber of Nathan Melech, the chamberlain, which was in the suburbs, and burned the chariots of the sun with fire. And the altars that were on top of the upper chamber of Ahaz, which the kings of Judah had made, and the altars which Manasseh had made in the two courts of the house of the Most High,
His grandfather. Go ahead.
did the king beat down and break them down from thence, and cast the dust of them into the brook Kidron. And high places that were before Jerusalem, which were on the right hand of the mount of corruption, which Solomon, the king of Israel, had builded for Ashtoreth, the abomination of the Zidonians, and for Chemosh, the abomination of the Moabites, and for Milcom, the abomination of the children of Ammon, did the king defile.
So Josiah went in. He's clearing off house in Israel, Jerusalem, all the different nations, okay, because they had the fatherland. Especially after he read the law. He was like, what? Oh, we got to get rid of them all. So there's a big purging going on. Okay? All right, so let's get back to, let's stop right there. Let's go back to the final purging. Okay, the Passover. Okay, so now after he finally just did a full-fledged cleanup of Jerusalem, he saw in the law about the Passover. So that means he was reading the book of Leviticus. All right, because the kings prior were really not keeping the Passover how they should keep it. How could they? How could you keep a Passover? You got graven images and golden cows all over the place. There was no way you could have done it right. But Josiah read it in the book of Leviticus. Go ahead.
Moreover, this is the book of 2 Chronicles, chapter 35, verse 1. Moreover, Josiah kept a Passover unto the Most High in Jerusalem, and they killed the Passover on the 14th day of the first month. And he set the priests in their charges and encouraged them to the service of the house of the Most High.
So he had to encourage the priests, because it's to them, it's like, okay, we don't really know much how to do it because it's been years since we did the Passover. So Josiah had to go into the law, encourage them and teach them. They had to read it for themselves. Go ahead.
And said unto the Levites that taught all Israel, which were holy unto the Most High, put the holy ark in the house which Solomon the son of David, king of Israel, did build. It shall not be a burden upon your shoulders. Serve now the Most High your power and his people Israel.
Well, big question. What was the ark all this time? Whatever it was, they had to bring it out. He told them, put it on their shoulders. Like, what? Put this heavy thing on our shoulders? They lost that. 400 years of pure wickedness. Now you don't know how to carry the Ark of the Covenant. You're worrying about your shoulders. Oh, I'm good. But when you was carrying that golden calf, you wasn't really worrying about it too much. Okay. Go ahead.
Verse 4. And prepare yourselves by the houses of your fathers, after your courses, according to the writing of David, king of Israel, and according to the writing of Solomon his son, and stand in the holy place according to the divisions of the families of the fathers of your brethren, the people, and after the division of the families of the Levites.
So he's setting everything in order, how everything should be done. Okay? Go ahead.
2 Chronicles chapter 35, verse 6. So kill the Passover and sanctify yourselves and prepare your brethren, that they may do according to the word of the Most High by the hand of Moses.
So everything that he was reading from the law, he was applying it, application. Okay? That's what we must do too. When we read it, we got to apply what we read or what we understand. That's the only way we're going to get it. You know, just like the example of me, almost lying to my son over an envelope. It may be small, but it's big.
Verse 7. And Josiah gave to the people of the flock lambs and kids, all for the Passover offering, for all that were present, to the number of 30,300 bullocks. These were of the king's substance.
So you see, Josiah was sharing all his bullocks and goats, sheep. He decided to give it to Israel for this Passover. Go ahead.
Verse 8. And his princes gave willingly unto the people, to the priests and to the Levites. Hilkiah and Zechariah and Jehiel, rulers of the house of the Most High, gave unto the priests for the Passover offerings 2,600 small cattle and 300 oxen.
So even his princes, the government, his cabinet, they had, they were pretty wealthy too. So they said, you know what, we're gonna give. They start donating and giving their cattle as an offering. They're gonna follow the example of Josiah. Go ahead.
Verse 9. Hananiah also, and Shemaiah, and Nathaniel his brethren, and Hashabiah, and Jael, and Josabad, chief of the Levites, gave unto the Levites for Passover offerings 5,000 small cattle and 500 oxen. So the service was prepared, and the priests stood in their place, and the Levites in their courses, according to the king's command.
So everybody was in place.
Commandment.
Okay, they're about to have a Passover. The first and the biggest and the greatest Passover in years. That was King Josiah. He didn't know. He didn't have the law. But when he came into the truth, when he came and understood the law, he applied it. That's no different from us when we come into the truth now. When we awaken. Okay? That's what happened to him. He woke up. Okay, the Most High rise.
2 Chronicles chapter 35, verse 20. After all this, when Josiah had prepared the temple, Necho, king of Egypt, came up to fight against Carchemish by Euphrates, and Josiah went out against him.
Okay, so now, Passover done. You have this king of Egypt come. Now there's a war brewing. And he came to Josiah. Go ahead.
Verse 21. But he sent ambassadors to him, saying, What have I to do with thee, thou king of Judah? I come not against thee this day.
So he said that, I'm not coming against you. I'm not going to war against you. Read.
But against the house wherewith I have war. For the Most High commanded me to make haste, forbear thee from meddling with the Most High.
Now this is king of Egypt saying the Most High had commanded him to make haste and for him not to meddle with the Most High. So this king is saying this is the Most High doing. How is that? He's of another nation. Question that came to me is like, wait a minute, the Most High spoke to this king? I thought the Most High only spoke to Israel. So how? Well, my understanding is that, you understand, the Most High gave his laws and statutes to Israel. He did not do so with other nations. This is the book of Psalms. But the Most High could send a prophet to a king of the other nation and said, thus says the Most High. Just like Daniel went to Nebuchadnezzar. Okay? And also, the Most High also could visit them in a dream, where they have to come to an Israelite and say, listen, I had this dream, man. What does that mean? That means that, you could go to war with this one, but you cannot touch this one. Oh, really? So that's why the king said that. Either he had gotten a vision or a prophet told him. Just like in the book of Isaiah. The Most High would say, go to this king so-and-so and tell him. Or go to that king so-and-so and tell him. Different other nations. Thus said the Most High. So this is where this king is coming from. So he told Josiah, listen, don't meddle in. The Most High said, ain't nothing, I'm not coming after you or Israel. Go ahead.
Verse 22. Nevertheless, Josiah would not turn his face from him, but disguised himself, that he might fight with him.
See that? Look at that. Josiah didn't turn away from that. He disguised himself. This is the big question. And I hope somebody here can help me out with this. Why did he disguise himself to go and fight? Continue reading. It's going to find out what happened. And, we could try to figure it out.
And hearken not unto the words of Nicole.
So he didn't listen to him. Okay? He didn't listen to what Nicole said. Go ahead.
From the mouth of the Most High, and came to fight in the valley of Megiddo.
Mm-hmm.
And the archers shot at King Josiah. And the king said to his servants, have me away, for I am sore wounded.
So now he got caught. He got hit with an arrow. He disguised himself, went to war, and got hit with an arrow. Why he disguised himself? Now the Most High said that you would be at peace. That means you would die peacefully. But is this a peaceful sleep? So sometimes we may think that, if you pass and you're in your bed, that's a peaceful sleep. Okay? But the Most High said, yeah, you will sleep peacefully because you're not going to see what's going to happen to Israel when these other nations come. But he never said that you're not going to take an arrow in your chest. Okay? Sometimes it's like, that's easier than to see your whole people get burned and taken away. Okay? Easier to just not see misery or live through misery. So that's what peace could probably mean too, in some cases. But why did he disguise himself? Somebody help me out here. They told him, don't go to war. And I'm sure his associates, his commanders told him, no, Josiah, fall back. But he went anyway. But why you have to disguise himself? That's the big question. I'm going to make, I don't know, anybody? They were holding back, right? He wanted to fight. Okay, so that's what Josiah wanted to be. He wanted to be on the low. But they told him not to fight. So he said, you know what? I'm going to be on the low and I'm going to go fight. Okay. Okay, Sister said maybe if he didn't disguise himself, then they wouldn't even go out there to war. So it probably wouldn't happen if he didn't. So then why did he make it happen? That's a good one. Sometimes I think it's because, remember, David had a warrior spirit. He was a warrior. Okay? And David went out, and a lot of kings went out to war. Maybe Josiah wanted to do that. He said, man, I want to go out. I mean, I want to go out like my father David. Maybe that's it. But now y'all not letting me. So now I'm going to disguise myself with ski mask. And he's standing next to his soldiers, and they say, oh, this new, you're a little short, but all right. Not known as him. But unfortunately, he got caught. Why did Most High allow this to happen? What was his mistake? Right. It was disobedience. The king told him. See that? The king told him. That was that one time Josiah was disobedient. That one time, look what it cost him. Especially when you're in a high position. When you're in a high position, man, it's like you got to walk a real straight, narrow path. Okay? So, unfortunately, Josiah didn't listen, didn't hearken. And you know what? Maybe he didn't know. He just learned the law. Okay? That's another thing, too. We're going to make mistakes. That's why we got to meditate the scriptures day in, day out. So we won't make that mistake, because that one mistake can cost us a headache in about 7 years, 10 years. And you got to look back and be like, okay, man, what did I do? And then that reminder start coming. What the prophetess said, you can pray as much as you want to pray, but the judgment is already set. Let's say we're going to wrap it up.
Verse 24. His servants therefore took him out of that chariot and put him in the second chariot that he had. And they brought him to Jerusalem, and he died, and was buried in one of the sepulchres of his fathers. And all Judah and Jerusalem mourned for Josiah.
Well, that was his peace. All Jerusalem mourned for him. Of course they felt bad. He did great works. He brought back Israel. He brought back the Passover. He brought back the law. He brought back the understanding. Let's praise the Most High for that, for Josiah. I said it was going to be a short one. All right, so save your questions for next week. Anybody got any questions based on this topic? Man, this is the second time nobody have questions, man. I mean, everything was just told to you. Yeah, go ahead, Ron.
Hold on, brother. No, I was just, thinking about what you were saying about Josiah, that he was following after King David. It seemed like even though they were all kings, they all had their shortcomings too. The same way in the Most High, sometimes I had to chastise them. They was righteous brothers, but they all seemed like they were still men. That they all had, shortcomings. Like he still wanted to go out there and fight after they told him no. And then that happened to him. Same like King David, he had his ups and downs. He made mistakes, but he still had the heart of the Most High. So that's all I want to say.
Okay. Yeah, everybody got their shortcomings. And that's why scriptures is there to convert our souls. You know what I mean? So we have to be in it day and night. Anybody else? All right, sis.
In 2 Chronicles 35 and 7, it says they were given Passover offerings, lambs. What does the word kids mean in that scripture?
Oh, like baby goats.
Oh, okay. That was my question.
Yeah.
And what was it that Josiah did that where he wasn't humble? What was that one thing that he did where he wasn't humble?
Anybody like to answer that? Okay. Anybody else? So you see that, sis? It's like with the king, of Egypt came to him and said, the Most High said, don't meddle in this war, because he was about to have a war with the Syrians. All right? So Josiah went and still went to war with him. Because, he's Egypt over here, you know how we are with Egypt now. They step foot, we ready to just take him down, because, he read about Egypt. But he just didn't have that understanding that the Most High can talk to other nations, through the prophets. So he probably felt like, wait a minute, Most High talking to you? Nah, get out of here, man. We're going to war. You tricking me. It was a mistake. But, he had to pay for it. Anybody else?
No, I was gonna say something.
Oh, yeah.
I think that's might have been why he disguised himself as well. Because disobedience. I thought that at first, but I just wanted to make sure I was clear that was the Most High saying, you ain't going to war. And he was disobedient, so his shame. He's probably covering his shame, like, Most High told me not to do this, I'm still going to do it. But he covering his shame.
That's a good one, covering his shame. Huh? Say what? Say it again?
You were saying something about that's how the Most High, that was his peace or something like that. So maybe, Most High's in control of everything anyway. So he probably already knew he was going to do that. So he said, all right, so I'm going to let him go out this way.
Yeah.
Because he's already the Most High's in charge of it anyway. Like the whole thing, the whole scenario, even though he think it's his own idea, but it's really the Most High he's the grand master of the whole thing.
The grand master. And then maybe it was something inside of Josiah that like, yo, I want to go to war, man. David did it. Mm-hmm. All right. Anybody else? Any more? It wasn't that painful. Yeah, it could have been worse.
But what I like is when he talked about the way he surrounded himself with the people who was teaching him about the Most High, and that he fell in love with the word that he was learning from them. And even though he was in the place where there was so much idol worship, that he didn't succumb to the idol worship. That when he found the law, then he realized, I have to get rid of all of this and worship the Most High the way he wanted to be worshipped. So that was a protection of his life as well, doing the will of the Most High God. So it shows us that in our walk with the Most High, whenever time we depart from the law, we bring condemnation to ourselves. Right. But when we walk in the way the Most High God said we should, we're under his protection, his love. So harm will still come to us, but he will be the one to protect us.
Right.
So that's what I got.
And, just you saying that made me think too, another thing why Josiah got killed and died, because we just read it in Exodus 20 and 5. Let's go to that for a second. One of the commandments. And
Book of
5.
Exodus,
Yeah, Exodus 20 and 5.
chapter 20, verse 5.
Mm-hmm.
Thou shalt not bow down thyself to them, nor serve them. For I, the Most High, thy power, am a jealous power, visiting the iniquity of the fathers upon the children, unto the third and fourth generation of them that hate me.
Now, if you're worshiping other idols, you tell the Most High that you hate him. He said, visit the iniquity of the fathers. Josiah's fathers was committing iniquity. He said, upon the children to the third and fourth generation. Josiah was a third generation to the Manasseh. Now, Josiah's son, another one, he didn't stay king for more than 2 years. I think he only did like 3 months. Okay? So, this commandment right here could have been something that he read. He said, oh my God, I'm the third generation. Something's going to happen to me because my father hated the Most High and committed iniquity. So that could have made him hot. Don't you ever read something that you did in the past? You be like, oh my goodness, I did that. And then you just get on your knees and you beg for mercy. So that could have been that too. I mean, that could have been his faith too. Listen, you know, your fathers, they went off, and my law is my law. I changed not. You know, so that could have been why, you know, the arrow hit him too, paying for the sins of the father. That's it. Any more? I'm sorry, I made it sad. I didn't mean to. But, okay, any more questions?
One more, sir.
One more? All right.
This might be a little not related so much with what we have been discussing. Why on the map of Israel is Manasseh occupied two different sections?
Why is who?
In the land.
Why is who?
Manasseh.
On the map?
Yeah.
You said Manasseh occupied two sections?
Yeah.
Let me try to see. I think I have a map in here. Well, you know, Manasseh, they had a big chunk of Israel, you know. I don't know why, but they did. I'm going to try to find out. We ask. Go ahead. Yeah, I think, well, either it was Manasseh or Reuben that had an agreement. But I had a map, a nice one too, that showed it. Anybody got a map with them? Who got it? Oh, let me see it. Brother, let me see your map. You said Manasseh. Okay, yeah, Manasseh had its land was north of Ephraim. It was a big piece of land, yes. But I don't see it. When you say it's two parts, what do you mean? On your map? Is that on your map? Is it on yours? Is it on yours, sis? Oh, can I see it? Bring it up so I can see it. Because it just shows on one side, so I don't know what kind of map. You said both sides?
I don't see anything other than
Oh, okay, yeah. Yeah, you're right about that. So this is doing Joshua, Samuel, and Saul. So Manasseh right here. Well, it's supposed to be over here. It's Gad. They didn't have Gad. That's a very good question. What Bible you got? Authorized King James with the Apocrypha. Okay. Well, yeah. Oxford. Oh, okay. Well, we see over here. You see my map right here? You see the difference in all that? So.
it's on between my other Bible.
Oh, okay. Well, all right. Well, maybe it was during a certain time. Wait. Yeah, maybe it was during a certain time when Manasseh had both land. Yeah, so we'll look into that. Maybe Tazabak, you probably right. Maybe it's when Moses allowed him to have this part of land when they got there before. Oh yeah? Oh, okay. So it's probably doing Joshua's that map, doing Joshua as king of Israel when that map was developed. Okay, but further on, it became the Gadites. Oh yeah? Can we go there? Can we read that? You said Joshua what? Joshua chapter 13 and 7. Oh, here, bro.
It's the book of Joshua, chapter 13, verse 7. Now therefore divide this land for an inheritance unto the 9 tribes, and the half tribe of Manasseh, with whom the Reubenites and the Gadites have received their inheritance, which Moses gave them, beyond Jordan eastward, even as Moses the servant of the Most High gave them, from Aurora, that is upon the bank of the river Arnon, and the city that is in the midst of the river, and all the plain of Medeba unto Dibon, and all the cities of Sihon, king of the Amorites, which reigned in Heshbon, and the border of the children of Ammon, and Gilead, and the border of the Geshurites, and Maacathites, and all Mount Hermon, and all Bashan unto Salcah, all the kingdom of Og and Bashan, which reigned in Ashtaroth and in Edril, who remained of the remnant of the giants. For these did Moses smite and cast them out. Nevertheless, the children of Israel expelled not the Geshurites nor the Maacathites, but the Jeshurites and the Maacathites dwell among the Israelites until this day. Only unto the tribe of Levi he gave none inheritance. The sacrifice of the most high power of Israel made by fire are their inheritance, as he said unto them.
Oh, okay.
Verse 29.
See, you got prophetess in here.
And Moses gave inheritance unto the half tribe of Manasseh, and this was the possession of the half tribe of the children of Manasseh by their families.
So I guess it's probably because Manasseh probably had a large family amongst Israel where they was able to get a good portion of the land. You know, that's my, speculation on that. But yeah, that's good, sis. Watching it, yeah, prophetess in the works. Okay, yeah. Because later on, eventually, that land in my map over here was divided back and gave it to the Gadites. But we just gotta look more into that. But okay, good questions. Keep us on our toes. Anybody else? All right, let's praise the Most High. Any first-time visitors? Oh, okay. First-time visitor. Just tell us, who are you and why are you here? I always wanted to say that.
Shalom, everyone.
Shalom.
I usually fellowship in the Bronx, but I live in Brooklyn, and I've always wanted to come to this sanctuary. So I said, let me venture out. It's a little cold, and come to this sanctuary. And I was thirsty.
Well, I hope we fed you.
My thirst has been quenched. Thank you.
What part of Brooklyn you live at? What part of downtown? Oh, okay. Downtown Brooklyn. All right. Another first-time visitor?
Anyone visiting the Brooklyn body in this building for the first time? No.
Yeah, we were invited by a friend. We are Seventh-day Adventists.
Oh, okay.
So we do observe the Sabbath.
All right, come on. Whose friend? Which friend invited you?
Tari.
Oh, okay. All right. Praise the Most High. I hope you enjoyed it. Oh, yeah? Okay, good. Yes. Hold on.
So the service that was taught today, is that going to be taught tomorrow in the Bronx as well? Different service. And what time does the service start here? 8:30. Okay.
Now, 8:30 is fine with everybody. Does anybody want to start it earlier? Could people get here earlier, or keep at 8:30, being that it gets dark, really quickly? Okay, let's, Oh, yeah? We gotta find out, cause all right. Okay. But 8:30 is good for you, huh, sis? Oh, okay. And sis from downtown. Okay. All right. Cool. And tomorrow's service starts at 1:00. Okay. Yeah. Okay. So on Friday nights, we try to, different topics. We try to go a lot into the law, try to go a lot into the culture, the brothers go into the spirit of Christ, so it varies. The whole purpose is this, is understanding the scriptures, find a way to break it down so then, you feel like you learn something. If you learn one thing, then that's the Most High will. Huh? All right, so that's it. So, no more questions, no more first-time guests. All right, I'm gonna pass it on to Officer Azak.
All right, all right. Let's give the Most High another round of applause. Give him all his praise. All right, we want to thank the Most High for the beautiful lesson, and thank the officer for dropping these jewels. All right, all praise to the Most High. Right. We're gonna get ready to end the service, and we're gonna enjoy our Sabbath feast. Sister Sonia, what's on your menu for tonight? Sister Sonia, I gotta call you out. Sister Sonia, what is on the menu for tonight? Yeah, bok choy. Okay, bok choy. Okay. Fried plantains. Oh, red velvet cake made by yours truly. All right. Before we discuss in-house matters, we want to say Shabbat Shalom to all the brothers and sisters online. I wish you guys could be here to get some of this food, but this is for the body in here. So if you want to get some of this food, you got to come to the Brooklyn Body Con. So until next week, you could have been anywhere on a Friday night, but you're here with the Gathering of Christ Church. Bless you all. Enjoy the rest of the feast of dedication. And until next week, Shalom.